It matters. Trust me that it matters. EPO matters. It's the reason LeBron takes it. It matters. And if other basketballers understood what it did, EPO increases your red blood cells, which gives you endurance so you can play all game long. You can shoot in the fourth quarter just like you shot in the fourth minute.
LeBron James's legacy is hanging by a thread. And it's not just because of the PED rumors. It's because of a 2020 video that just resurfaced, where he declared, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." And now Diddy is a convicted felon, serving 50 months in prison. The timing couldn't be worse. In October 2025, Sean Diddy Combs was sentenced for transporting women across state lines for what prosecutors described as freak-off encounters. The federal indictment detailed scenes of coercion, intoxication, and power abuse. Events so disturbing that even veteran agents were reportedly shaken. The government's case painted Diddy as a man who used his influence and wealth to control others. Witnesses testified that these so-called freak-offs were filmed inside his homes, from Los Angeles to Miami. The court heard emotional statements from his former partners, his children, and prosecutors who said he didn't need the money. His true currency, they claimed, was control.
Sources told the Post that Jones sent a message to one of the betting ring members on February 9, 2023, urging him to place a large bet on the Lakers' opponent, the Milwaukee Bucks, because James would be out with an injury.
Now that same video clip, LeBron grinning beside Diddy on an old live stream, is exploding across social media. Hey, everybody knows ain't no party like a Diddy party, LeBron said 4 years ago, unaware of what those words would mean in 2025. And LeBron? He's been silent. Not just about the parties, about everything. In September 2025, as Diddy's trial dominated headlines, LeBron suddenly took personal time away from the Lakers. He missed team media sessions, canceled public appearances, and stopped posting on social media for 10 days. At first, fans assumed it was just routine rest before training camp. But then UFC fighter Colby Covington made it anything but routine. How many Diddy parties has he actually attended? Covington asked during a press conference. The remark went viral within hours, dragging LeBron's name into a scandal he'd publicly avoided. Sports blogs framed it as a challenge, not an accusation, but the implication was clear.
It's like, no, if you knew what these performance enhancers did, then you would know why it does matter.
What do you think he's
There's
doing?
only one, we have the same guy, if you will. I know exactly what he's doing. But there's only one golfer.
Please tell.
There's only one golfer. I'm not going to, but there's only one golfer that follows the big three. And the big three is EPO, growth hormone, testosterone. That's the Lance Armstrong diet. There's one golfer, but it's Tiger Woods. Like, yes.
Within 48 hours, another unexpected voice entered the conversation. Chael Sonnen, the same man who once accused LeBron of using EPO and claimed they had the same supplier, suddenly defended him. LeBron reportedly said, "I am not going to make a statement until I see what comes out publicly." Sonnen posted on social media, calling it the most honest response in the history of ever. For a fighter who built his reputation exposing what he called enhanced athletes, the pivot was shocking. Just 2 years earlier, Sonnen told the Flagrant podcast, "EPO is king. It's the reason LeBron takes it. It increases your red blood cells so you can play all game long." Those clips had reignited speculation that LeBron's superhuman stamina came from something more than discipline. So why defend him now? Insiders close to the PR teams involved told reporters that Sonnen's sudden reversal didn't happen in a vacuum. The theory circulating through media circles is that a quiet truce was brokered behind the scenes. One that kept LeBron's name out of headlines, just as the Diddy trial reached its most graphic testimony, but the silence didn't protect him for long. In early October, unsealed filings from the FBI's Operation Nothing But Bet dropped another bombshell. The investigation revealed that former Cavaliers player and LeBron's longtime confidant, Damon Jones, had been selling non-public injury information to professional gamblers. According to federal documents, Jones allegedly texted a co-conspirator before a Lakers game in February 2023. "Get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight before the information is out." The player who sat out that night? LeBron James. Federal prosecutors confirmed Jones pocketed thousands for the tip. The league's integrity office called it one of the most disturbing breaches of confidentiality we've ever seen. Though LeBron was not accused of any wrongdoing, the connection was impossible to ignore. The man accused of trafficking insider knowledge for profit had unrestricted access to LeBron during private workouts and team flights reporters covering Jones's arrest said he often boasted in Las Vegas casinos that he was best friends with LeBron. According to one professional bettor who saw him at the area resort, Jones used that friendship as a calling card to gain access and favors. When the federal indictment confirmed he'd sold at least 2 pieces of non-public injury data, including one about Anthony Davis, fans began connecting the dots. LeBron's inner circle suddenly looked more vulnerable than ever.
The first indictment involves 6 defendants. This scheme is an insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about National Basketball Association athletes and teams.
And through all of it, LeBron James said nothing. The same week that Diddy's sentencing brought tears from his children and outrage from the public, memes of LeBron and Diddy together started trending under the tag "Itcher Ain't No Party." Some were digitally altered. Others were authentic photos from the ESPY Awards and earlier events. His legal team moved quickly, but not to address the scandal itself. Instead, they sent cease and desist letters targeting fake images portraying LeBron in ragged clothing or edited into humiliating scenes. Sources close to the firm confirmed that no legal action was taken against outlets implying connections to Diddy's parties or the ongoing PED allegations. Behind the courtroom drama, the NBA was fighting its own fire. Commissioner Adam Silver had just addressed the growing gambling crisis that saw Portland's Chauncey Billups and Miami's Terry Rozier arrested for corruption. There's nothing more important than the integrity of the competition, Silver said. But when federal prosecutors confirmed that an associate of LeBron's was part of that same network, fans wanted to know if the league's biggest name was truly untouched. The Lakers declined to comment, and Clutch Sports, the agency managing LeBron, issued only a one-line statement. Mr. James has no involvement in any gambling or illegal activity.
Winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet.
Winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet on that. Still, the timeline tells a different story. In mid-September, as Diddy's defense attorneys begged for leniency, LeBron disappeared from team activities. Days later, Colby Covington's challenge hit the internet. 2 weeks after that, the Damon Jones indictment named him indirectly. And when Chael Sonnen reversed his stance, it looked less like coincidence and more like coordination. A veteran LA reporter told us, "This isn't about proof anymore. It's about perception." When a global brand like LeBron's goes dark while everything burns around him, people fill the silence themselves. Even Tracy McGrady, a respected Hall of Famer, added fuel to the fire earlier this year when he said on a podcast, "I don't know how he's doing it. I hope it's the right way." McGrady didn't mention enhancers outright, but everyone understood what he was implying. At 40 years old, LeBron is still averaging elite numbers in a league where most players fade by 35. Analysts once praised that as dedication. Now, some call it suspicious consistency. Meanwhile, the fan base is splitting. Some argue LeBron's quiet approach shows discipline, that he refuses to dignify gossip. Others believe his silence is strategic, guided by legal counsel who fear one wrong. Word could trigger defamation suits or league scrutiny. Insiders point out that Clutch Sports has previously lobbied media outlets to pull unverified stories. But no such effort has been made against the Diddy or PD narratives. In Los Angeles, the tension is starting to show. Trade rumors are circulating that LeBron might finish his career elsewhere, possibly alongside his son, Bronny James. The Lakers front office has offered no long-term commitment, and those close to the organization admit privately that the brand distraction is real. They can handle aging athletes, but not federal headlines. Every new leak about the gambling ring or the Diddy connection chips away at the myth of the untouchable king.
Incredible. And then guys try to do that as a badge of honor. Well, I only took it so I could train harder. Which then you're complimenting yourself because I was just such a hard worker. It's like, well, there is a little bit of a truth to that, but bigger, stronger, faster in that order. But they got some performance enhancers. Like, if the world understood what LeBron did, like other basketball players will hear what LeBron does and go, well, yeah, but that doesn't.
And yet every time the pressure rises, LeBron retreats instead of reacts. No interviews, no clarifications, just carefully curated glimpses of family life and workouts. It's the same pattern we saw in 2014, when he took an unexplained 2-week sabbatical, the same year conspiracy theories claimed he underwent off-season treatments banned by the league. History might not repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes. Now, as Diddy serves his sentence and the NBA scrambles to contain a scandal widening by the day, one question echoes louder than ever. LeBron's lawyers can move fast enough to silence a meme, but why won't they touch the real scandals? LeBron's silence isn't just strange, it's strategic, and the numbers prove it. With a $53 million contract locking him to the Lakers for one more season, every word carries risk. His son Bronny's NBA future hangs in the balance, and team insiders whisper that the franchise is already pivoting its long-term vision toward Luka Doncic. This is a man who built an empire on control. Every narrative, every endorsement, every post. So why is he letting the rumors fester? Sources close to his management circle claim LeBron's camp is simply waiting for the storm to pass. But what if the storm is only beginning? We can see the pattern. LeBron has never directly addressed the performance enhancer allegations. Not in 2023 when Chael Sonnen first went public with claims that they shared the same supplier. Not in early 2025 when Tracy McGrady's careful words, "I hope it's the right way," reignited speculation. And not now, as Diddy's sentencing exposes a darker celebrity network. Through every cycle, LeBron stays silent, letting the noise rise and fall like background static. That silence might have protected him once. But today, silence looks less like innocence and more like strategy.
So yes, it gives you an advantage, but can you explain the type of advantage?
Well, strength is huge, but the training for that sport is so difficult. I used to wake up every single day depressed. Yeah.
That's what it is.
I mean, I would literally wake up depressed knowing what I have to do today before I can get back into bed. It was most defeated feeling. I would go to bed some nights where I could barely get into bed. I'd wake up the next morning, and that was a distant memory. Yeah, the recovery.
What makes the pattern even stranger is how selectively that strategy is applied. When an AI-generated photo circulated showing LeBron James in a maid's costume at a supposed Diddy party, his attorneys fired off cease and desist letters within hours. When a meme edited him into a courtroom sketch, same reaction. Yet when Chael Sonnen repeats his claims, or when former players imply performance enhancement behind closed doors, there's no denial, no legal warning, not even a dismissive comment. He'll fight over a joke, but not the accusation that could rewrite his entire legacy. Why? Diddy's trial might hold the answer. The courtroom exposed how many A-listers knew something was wrong but chose to stay close, until the backlash made it impossible. From artists to athletes, the same behavior kept surfacing. Loyalty in public, distance in private. Prosecutors described a culture of protection around Diddy's empire, a ring of silence built by fame and fear. As observers, we can't help but wonder if LeBron is following that same playbook, holding his breath until it's safe to exhale.
The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity.
Meanwhile, the financial stakes keep rising. LeBron's business empire spans everything from production companies to fitness brands, all tied to his image as the ultimate professional. Any hint of banned substances could sink sponsorships overnight. Sports marketing analysts estimate that one scandal could erase hundreds of millions in long-term revenue. That makes his measured silence look less like avoidance and more like crisis management. If he speaks too soon and the investigation deepens, he risks fueling the fire. If he stays quiet, the internet builds the story for him. And then came the betrayal no one saw coming. Damon Jones, the man photographed courtside with LeBron, the friend who helped train him during warm-ups, now stands accused of selling injury information to gambling rings. Federal. Filings show he pocketed $2,500 for a tip about a February 2023 Lakers game. It wasn't just any night. It was the week after LeBron broke the all-time scoring record. To bettors, that was gold. To fans, it was proof that even LeBron's inner circle might not be loyal. Sources say Jones bragged about being LeBron's best friend while playing high-stakes poker in Las Vegas. If a confidant could trade private details for cash, what other secrets might already be circulating? That betrayal ties directly into the league's current crisis. The NBA is reeling from arrests tied to Operation Nothing But Bet, coaches, players, and associates accused of feeding privileged information to criminal networks. Commissioner Adam Silver's promise of integrity above all sounds thinner every day as the list of defendants grows. For years, LeBron's brand has been built on being bigger than the sport. Now, the sport itself is under scrutiny, and his name keeps floating near the edges of the indictments. Officially, he's not accused of anything. Unofficially, he's one headline away from being the story.
But we begin with a story that has dominated the headlines. The FBI announced on Thursday that two major operations, one involving the sharing of insider information for betting on NBA games, and the other centering on rigged poker games using high-tech cheating devices, have led to the arrest of more than 30 suspects, some involved.
Inside Los Angeles, the atmosphere is shifting. Front office sources describe rising tension behind closed doors. Executives have begun scouting long-term replacements, even as LeBron's camp pushes the narrative that he plans to retire a Laker. The franchise is still selling tickets on his legend, but privately, their focus has shifted to the next superstar, someone untainted by controversy, someone like Luka Doncic. It's a quiet betrayal mirroring the one that hit him off the court. The man who once controlled every headline for 2 decades suddenly finds himself at the mercy of them. There's also the family dimension. LeBron James' entrance into the league was supposed to be a fairy tale continuation of the James dynasty. Instead, it now feels like a fragile test case. If the father's reputation slips, sponsors could hesitate to back the son. Industry insiders say Clutch Sports has doubled down on media coaching for Bronny, emphasizing distance between his image and the current rumors. It's a subtle move, but a telling one. Bronny is no longer just a prospect. He's the next brand extension of the James empire. He entered the NBA draft under the brightest spotlight imaginable. But insiders say the real game has been happening behind the scenes. Endorsement contracts, streaming deals, even documentary pitches lined up to launch the moment father and son shared the same court. But that entire machine depends on one thing: credibility. If LeBron's reputation slips into controversy, whether through whispers of enhancers, insider gambling, or Diddy's social circle, advertisers could back out. Networks could pull funding, and the dream of a father-son dynasty could unravel before it ever truly begins. From a business standpoint, the Lakers' quiet turn toward Luka Doncic looks less like a coaching decision and more like a strategic hedge. The franchise has invested millions in a family narrative that no longer feels stable. Team executives admit privately that if LeBron's brand takes a public hit, Bronny's image becomes collateral damage. That risk stretches beyond sports, into apparel lines, gaming deals, and streaming rights valued in the tens of millions. In other words, the Lakers might not just be planning their next superstar, they might be protecting their next generation of revenue.
In a second, this announcement comes just as the NBA season was starting and not only involves a current coach of the Portland Trail Blazers who's accused of being part of a rigged poker game involving mobsters in New York, but in a separate indictment, a former unofficial Lakers assistant coach accused of leaking injury reports to gamblers so they could bet big against.
And that brings us back to LeBron James's silence. Maybe it isn't about defiance or indifference. Maybe it's the calculation of a father who understands that one wrong statement could scorch everything his family has built. We can sense that fear in how carefully his public appearances are managed, how every word from his camp feels pre-cleared. The bigger the storm grows, the more deliberate the quiet becomes. It's as if he's guarding not only his legacy, but his son's future in a league that remembers every headline as more footage resurfaces from Diddy's extravagant gatherings. And the gossip ecosystem dissects every frame. We can feel the unease building in LeBron's world. For a man who's always thrived under scrutiny, this silence feels different, colder, calculated, maybe even fearful. The empire he built on transparency and access is now barricaded behind lawyers and non-responses. Every absence at a press event, every vague caption, every avoided question adds another layer to the mystery. And the truth is, we might not get answers anytime soon. The people around him are too invested, and the stakes are too high. But the longer the silence stretches, the more the audience fills it with imagination. In today's culture, speculation moves faster than facts, and LeBron's fortress of control may finally be cracking. LeBron's legacy was supposed to be untouchable, but right now, the only thing untouchable is the truth, and the longer he stays quiet, the louder the questions get. So what do you think? Is this the calm before the collapse, or just another masterclass in image control? Drop your thoughts below, because the next chapter of this story might change everything. Until then, stay tuned. And remember, in the world of fame, silence sometimes speaks the loudest.